Today's video is going to be the most close-minded video ever possible. I'm going to be arguing that being open-minded is a bad thing. What? Isn't that like conservatism? No. I'm going to be arguing that you would actually be a lot more open-minded by being closed-minded. No, that is an irrational statement. What I actually mean is today, open-mindedness is essentially positivism. It's this idea that all perspectives are good, there's truth to everything, all ideas are good ideas, you should try to experience everything. That's positivism, right? And I'm going to be arguing that you're actually a lot more open-minded when you don't just simply have a positive view on everything. You should be able to have a positive or a negative view on something if you're truly open-minded. Alright, so this brings us to the big cube of knowledge. There's 4 people here, and these are the 4 different perspectives. This is the first point of view. From this person's perspective, the cube looks like black. And that's because there's a big tree in front of them and they cannot see the cube. Their perspective and knowledge and opinions about the cube are going to be very, very bad. I think anyone who argues that this person has a good perspective on the subject is clearly wrong. Now this is person number 2. From their point of view, they see the cube as a flat square. So their point of view is better. They have a more accurate perception of the cube, but it's still very far off. A cube is not a square. Now this is person number 3. They have an oblique view of the cube, so they can understand it a fair bit better. They can see that it has some depth to it. It's not a two-dimensional object. And so their understanding is a little bit better than person number 2. And now this is person number 4. And person number 4 undoubtedly has the best perspective on the cube because he has the perspective of person number 1, 2, and 3, as well as additional information from his own point of view. This doesn't necessarily mean they have the best analysis, right? It's quite possible person number 4 is not a person and they're actually an owl. Person number 3 is probably going to have a better understanding if they are in fact a person than an owl would looking from perspective number 4. I don't know, maybe owls are smart, maybe we have to use a rabbit. I know rabbits are pretty dumb, they like run into walls. So quite clearly, some perspectives are better than other perspectives. They just simply have more knowledge. And some perspectives are better than other perspectives because they have the ability to interpret that knowledge in a way that's more meaningful and useful. Like if you go on TED Talks, you can probably find any idea under the sun, and you can probably even find contradicting ideas. If you were to absorb all that information, you're just going to be totally overwhelmed, confused, and not doing anything really productive because anytime you manage to find a good idea, you're probably going to find the opposite idea and end up doing that too. What is far more important than being open-minded is being accurately minded. Now, I don't want to be defending the conservative behavior of traditionalism, where you just simply dismiss any new idea without giving it any sort of rational evaluation because it's just weird, right? That's bad, okay? Every idea deserves a rational analysis. And that doesn't necessarily mean a very long rational analysis. This is another thing that's a big problem in our world today, where people will say you're closed-minded if you're not going to read a 500-page book on the subject. You're closed-minded if you're not going to watch a 10-hour video. Well, there's these things called summaries, and if the summary of something is not all that impressive, there really isn't any reason, to spend watching or reading the whole thing. So I think there's an equilibrium to be reached, right? You don't want to be overly dismissive where you're not giving ideas any kind of rational evaluation. And you don't want to be positively open-minded where you're just taking in mountains and mountains of crappy ideas, right? If you notice the quality in this video is a fair bit better, it's because I upgraded my video editor. Upgrading everything. And this is my old camera. If any of you guys like my old videos for some reason and you want this camera, let me know and I will give it to you for free. It comes with the charger, battery, and everything you need, so you can start your own channel if you're on a budget. What do you think? Do you think it's good or bad to be open-minded? Do you think I have a pretty convincing argument? Let me know. your thoughts below. I will respond though, and if you disagree, that's fine, but I will track you down.